Without question, considering the urgency of the situation.
I share your concern, Mrs. Goswick. Be sure that I'll talk to the people involved.
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reed. But I'm aware such behavior would not be tolerated in other hospitals.
Okay.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Mal sehen, ob hier jetzt
Good
wieder
evening,
was dazu
Mr.
gekommen ist.
Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
Why did your mother have you hospitalized here? She seems convinced this is a bad hospital.
My mother just wants the best for me. She won't rest while I'm here. She'd go all the way to hell and back to help me.
Irgendwas war da mit der Mutter.
Pembroke Hospital may look unorthodox, but rest assured you're in good hands here.
It's not me you have to convince, Dr. Reed. It's my mother.
Is your mother bothering you? As your doctor, I can ask her to leave you alone if you would prefer.
That's tempting, Doctor. But you have no idea what my mother is capable of. She would tie herself to my bed if you asked her to leave.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
So.
Doctor.
Good evening, Doctor. How is my son doing?
Verdammt.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Ich muss sie also irgendwie dazu bringen, rauszugehen, damit er da mit der Sprache rausrückt. Mit denen haben wir gequatscht. Jetzt bist du mal dran.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleagues are already arguing about my condition.
I see. Would you mind telling me more about your situation?
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
Are you satisfied with your treatment here?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured. Forgive my bluntness, but you seem overwhelmed by cases of the flu.
I won't lie to you about it. I'm afraid we are.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reed? I have the feeling you're very capable, and your colleagues seem to think so too.
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now, I don't think I can take on the responsibility. My apologies.
Mehr Infos.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Fiddick.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed, so I can return to work and to my family.
I was more curious about what you were doing before being hospitalized.
I'm a carpenter, and a good one too. But that means I need both arms to feed my family, Dr. Reed.
Tell me about the doctors who are arguing about your case.
Strickland and Aykroyd. They both want the best for me, but there's a lot of pride there. Doctors are no different from carpenters, it seems.
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is, I disagreed about wooden nails, not flesh and bones.
Oh, wir haben sogar schon zwei. Sie machen sich Sorgen um ihre Familie.
You seem worried about the safety of your family. And it's obviously the reason why your wound troubles you so much.
I cannot give up on my children now. They both need me living.
What about their mother, if I may ask?
She died in 1915 during one of the first Zeppelin raids. We never found her body.
Tell me more about the death of your wife, Harvey.
1915. I was in the army, building workshops for the Royal Flying Corps. Helen was happy I wasn't sent to the front.
What happened?
The Germans sent Zeppelins to bomb the construction site, but they missed their target. My wife was bringing my dinner when the bombs fell.
I'm sorry for your loss. So many died during the bombings. I served in France and witnessed the carnage there.
I would like to say that she didn't suffer. Truth is, I have no idea. I just know that I'm all that me kids have. Poor little bleeders.
Okay.
How are your children after losing their mother?
They were smaller then. The only good thing about this is my Helen didn't bring them with her that night.
So, weshalb die Schuldgefühle wegen ihrer Verletzung?
Tell me about your injury, Harvey. Why do you feel so guilty about it?
My wife died because of me. And now I may lose everything because I've been careless enough to hurt myself. What an arsehole.
Ihre Frau ist ihretwegen gestorben? Nein. Was? Haben Sie sich mutwillig verletzt? Na, das werden wir
How
gleich
could your
lernen.
job be responsible for your wife's death?
I was working a double. She went out to bring me a hot meal and got caught in a German bomb raid.
You can't hold yourself responsible for your injury, Mr. Fiddick. Unless you tried to hurt yourself.
Of course I didn't hurt myself. But I can't work until my arm is fixed. My children need to eat, Doctor.
Jo. So, da haben wir alle Hinweise. Miep, 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 miep. So. So, haben wir. Okay. Ausnahme vom Arme sehr gesund. Erschöpft. Behandlung gegen Erschöpfung. Ich brauche unbedingt mal langsam das Zeug, um das Mittel zu machen. Ansonsten wird das nichts mit meinem Plan, die Stadtteile alle irgendwie stabil zu halten. Am besten in Richtung gesund und gereinigt. Warum gibt es nur hier einen? Sei denn, das Hospital kann den Status sich nicht ändern. So, hier haben wir ja auch alles abgehakt.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
Sweet girl. Treats me like a book. I never could keep it.
Er ist erschöpft. Wir brauchen so viel Erschöpfungsmedizin. So, die Frage ist jetzt bloß, habe ich jetzt alles? Aha. Ach du Scheiße. Die sind ja mal ein bisschen arg stark. Das erfordert also taktisches Vorgehen. So. Ja, mit dem Zeug. Was auch immer ihr hier habt. Oh, Schrotpatronen. Finde ich gut. So. Ach, die waren die Aufgabe von ihr. Ah. Okay. So, ich will wirklich hier nichts liegen lassen. Die haben sie beobachtet. Halt. Ich hab glatt übersehen. So. Schließen Sie sich den Truppen an. Naja. Uncle Sam braucht euch. So, na dann haben wir das dort gleich mal abgehakt mit nebenbei. Ohne, dass ich es bewusst getan habe. Achso, das ist diese andere Mission.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Such a pleasure to see you again. Please show me what you have. Of course.
X-Taste beschleunigt also die Dialoge. So, da haben wir schon mal das alles. Die kann ich bestimmt looten.
I cannot enter.
Warum darf nur der die öffnen? So, egal. Wo ist das verrückte Luder? Mit ihr kann ich aber auch noch reden, weil ich einen Hinweis gekriegt habe. So.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Was ich mit dir bequatschen will, wird dir ganz und gar nicht gefallen. Scheiße. Okay.
Goodbye, Nurse.
Daneben nicht. Viva las Personas? Da. Personenkreis. Milton Hooks. Ich muss diese Person finden. Unbekannt? Warum bist denn du mir unbekannt?
Good evening, sir.
Moin.
So it is true. The famous Dr. Reed has joined us. I can't think of any better news during these terrible times.
Do we know each other?
Actually, yes. We met once before, at the Rockefeller University in New York.
Dr. Tippett, yes, I remember. I was assisting Professor Carell in his research about coronary bypasses. He had nothing but praise for you.
He was also very confident about your future. And look at you now. Eminent surgeon and blood transfusion specialist.
Okay. Wie ist die Lage hier? Erzählen Sie mir von Personal. Erstmal die Lage checken.
What is the Pembroke Hospital situation? And please, speak freely.
This hospital is not exactly the best of London. I'm sure you are used to working in a better environment.
Die Belegschaft ist wichtiger. Es ist überall dasselbe. Ich hatte keine große Wahl.
It's more than enough. In any case, the personnel of a hospital are much more important to me than the building.
Don't be misled by appearances, Dr. Reed. This hospital does not lack talented people. It just lacks hope.
What can you tell me about the staff in the hospital?
Some are really good, and others are not so good. But during this troubled period, there is no time for slander. I prefer to focus on the positive character traits.
Aber warum hat keiner bisher über ihn geredet, obwohl er Teil des Personals ist?
Tell me more about cherished people, then.
Nurse Brannigan is a pearl. She is the most helpful and dedicated nurse I've ever worked with. A clever and cheerful woman.
You really seem to admire her skills.
I'll go even further. If she was a man, she would be a damn fine practitioner.
Any opinion about the management?
I don't always agree with Dr. Swansea's reserve, but I must admit he does all he can to keep this facility running during this crisis.
Ah, yes, the burden of command. I was fed up with this concept while serving as a medical officer.
Don't get me wrong. Swansea's a good administrator,